One time. Yeah. 3 times. 4 times. Doing gang things. Living super clean. That done came up. Can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. Look at you done came up now. Get it how you live, mess the game up now. Ain't messing with yoga, but get the flame up. Hey, used to be Toby, but got your name back now. I see ya, paid under pressure. 25 lighters, got them all on the dresser. If it ain't for you, ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side hustle or a business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy. Could've turned out like your homeboy. Being on the same block, cooking up the same rock on the cell block lot with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had goal. Brand new you on the old time road. Take care of home where you bust your low. Black men don't teach, screaming bump these hoes. Real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the folk that have moved up. Even if you had a slow start screwed up. Used to gang bang, now homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing from a handout now. Just faith and hard work gets it planned out now. You could've took a bunch of dusty roads. The hand dealt with a bunch of cards to fold. You stay hot while the world is freezing cold. The same plot, but the story's never old. Slow clap for your kinfolk. Could've been asking what your info. Prosecutor could be trying to do you in for the 2020 twins, so you passing out the info. But no, you had purpose, you had plans. I ain't throwing nothing, I'ma say these bands won't impress y'all, don't need no fans. That ain't my God, who is that, man? This real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom while you peak these grades. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. Yeah, real man. Sheesh. Yeah. Doing cane things. Living super clean. Daddy came up.
1 time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I submit and I cook and I clean and I never hold back on that wop. I'ma let it rain. Made me honest, I got a ring. All praises to the most high, let it sing. A real man able, sister never came. And I ain't going nowhere, this is not a game. Look at you, girl, you're lonely right now. Settling for bums instead of men the most high. He provide and protect so he get our respect. And he leading us aboard when them chariots fly. I don't really think you hear me though. You can't cross this bridge on some billy goats. Let them save you in the end like a Seminole. BS help me, shout let the silly go.
1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono. I'm sorry, y'all. The tea is, I got some chocolates today. And if you know, you know. Okay. If you know about Ferrero Rocher, you know about Ferrero Rocher. So I've been eating these things all day. But that's the last one I brought down here with me. I only bought one down here with me. I have been munching on these things all day. Okay? All right. Thank y'all for hanging out with me this evening. I'm so happy to see y'all. Happy to be with you guys. All praises to the Most High. Sorry, trying to get my stuff together over here. Angelina Ortiz. Okay. You got the aliases on there. Shalom, shalom. Thank you so much for joining me. All right, because I'm going to do a slideshow today for y'all. So I need to have my iPad set up so I can see. Listen, the best chocolate ever, hand down. I don't care what nobody says. Don't bring me nothing. Oh, I didn't know if I should. But guess what? It's a real birthday, okay? I be skeptical because, people got different feelings about birthdays. I don't want to offend anybody, but I got to give praises to the Most High because I probably should not be here, but if it was not for his grace and his mercy, okay? If it was not, I don't know why it shows like that now. Quinai, shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. My bad, y'all. I had to get some of that good water. And in case you're like, who's this girl whose birthday it is, please allow me to introduce myself. I go by Miss Mono's World in these content creator streets, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the places the content creators be. Snapchat. Sometimes on Snapchat. My kids be getting on me because I be breaking our Snapchat streak. I'm trying to get better though, y'all. I promise I am. If you're not on the YouTube, please head over to the YouTube at Monologue Magad, MONOLOGMAGAD. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. I do go live every Thursday, 8 p.m., Lord willing. 8 p.m. Eastern every Thursday. I am here, so turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. Okay. All right. I just want to, make sure I'm not missing nothing else. Oh, your birthday on the 25th? Okay. November birthdays. Hold on. Where's my thing? Okay. November birthdays. I feel like people who were born in November are just special. We are just special. All right, so a few things I want to talk to y'all about, but my main topic is going to take up most of my time. I hope I'm going to get through it today. I think I will. The first thing I want to talk to y'all about, I hate to do this. It's so sad. I was watching this documentary. Y'all know documentaries are my thing. Okay. So I was watching, scrolling, looking for something to watch. And I was on HBO Max and I saw the advertisements for this documentary called Thoughts and Prayers. What is it about, you may ask? It is about the active shooter industry in America. See, there's actually an industry whose only purpose is to prepare people and train people on how to act in an active shooter situation. So this documentary shows you a couple of the companies that do that. It actually walks you through some of the drills that the kids have to do at school, like the lockdown drill. I'm just so thankful that I don't have to send my kids to school right now. I'm very, very thankful. And I was thinking about it while I was watching it, and I was like, it's an insult to our intelligence for you to sit here and tell me that you can't keep my child safe from an active shooter, but demand that I send them to your building. It's an insult to my intelligence. As somebody who was sitting in high school when Columbine happened, to see how far it's come to the fact that now it's just commonplace. when Columbine happened, I remember Coach Kirk went and got the TV. They bought it in the room. They showed it to us on the news. Like, it was a big deal. But now it's almost like, oh, another school shooting, thoughts and prayers. And we just keep on going about our business. I was crying. I was crying while I was watching this because these are babies. They are doing lockdown drills in kindergarten. These are 5-year-olds. And one of the one of the guys that ran the program was like, you can't use these real words with kids. So you have to tell them, oh no, there's a dinosaur outside. The dinosaur wants to come and eat us. What do we do? And then the kids will say stuff like, close the door. So then the guy's like, okay, now all the kids will help me close the door. Maybe shouldn't we cover the windows? Isn't the dinosaur going to be looking through the windows? Cover the windows. And all the kids help cover the window. And I'm like, dinosaurs are no longer fun imaginary creatures now. This is really sad, y'all. Listen, if you can afford to keep your kids at home, keep your kids at home. That is one thing that baffles me about whenever there is a active shooter situation in a school, the way that people are so quick to just send their kids back. No, y'all need to do I'm not going to send my kids back here until you do something to keep them safe. But we won't do that. And that's kind of the topic of, it kind of goes into our main topic. So we'll get into that right now. Ivory Israel Shalom and Shalom says, yeah, it's on HBO Max. You should check it out. Have your tissues, okay? Because it is a bit of a tearjerker, but it also makes you angry. It will make you angry. Larnice Shalom and Shalom says, thank you so much for joining me. Okay, so my main topic, why Boaz so much your ass, it's the life you live, right? But I want to talk to y'all about the life that we live, because we are under the impression that we make our own choices, right? You are under the impression that you get up every day and you choose to go to work, and you choose what you're going to wear, you choose what you're going to eat, you come home, you're under the impression, you're under the illusion of choice. You are under the illusion that you have a choice in everything that happens in your life. And I'm here to tell you that that's not true, okay? I want to talk to you guys about why it is so easy to do the things that we should not do, okay? We know Paul talked about this. I want to do good, but every time I seek to do good, there's evil present. How is that? Why is this so easy? And so, I've been watching a lot of YouTube conversations around food, around processing, around the food industry. And as I was thinking about that, this topic of how is it so easy to do the things that we shouldn't, they kind of collaborated, okay? So we're going to run through some information, and then we'll talk about how that all ties back in. We'll bring the Bible into it. We'll talk about how it affects your life and what we can do about it, because I want to leave you with hope. I don't want you to feel like, oh no, I have no choice but to succumb to the things around me. That's not true. There is hope. So we're going to get into that, okay? All right. So how is this so easy to do the things we shouldn't? What if I told you that your life was not chosen by you, but happened to you? You don't choose your food. You don't choose your habits. You don't even choose the customs and holidays. They were all chosen for you. Your parents and your grandparents were handed a limited set of choices that caused you to be the person that you are now. Okay, so if we just take this from the most elementary step, think about the fact that we were all indigenous to a continent, whether it had been what they now call the Middle East, whether it had been Africa. We brown-skinned people were all indigenous to a particular continent. That continent had native food, native habitats, just things that we did living in that environment. Okay, so just the fact that you are not living where you are indigenous from should be the first clue that I did not pick what is going on around me, okay? All right, so from prehistory until the 1800s, people grew and ate local fresh food. Food came from your own farm, your neighbors through trade and or barter, or a local market, what we would consider a farmer's market today. If you went to some other countries, it would be like an open air market where people would just put their stuff out. You go, there's no grocery store. You go, you walk through the outside, you pick what you want, you pay, you keep it moving. This food is grown by the farmers. The meat is raised by the farmers. Food was only processed to be preserved and was limited to drying or smoking, which means they would lay the food in the sun, in the air, or put it in ovens or kilns. Fruit, vegetables, and meat were hung or laid out to dry to prevent the growth of mold, mildew, and bacteria by removing the moisture. So they take the moisture out, it dries out the fruit and the vegetables, and that allows it to last longer. I think in Turkey, this is something that they still do today. They grow their vegetables, they dry out the peel of the vegetable, and they hang it. They just hang them in their houses or their yards or whatever. When it's dry, they can take it and stuff it with other vegetables and meat, and they use it as a meal, which is something I want to get into because it looked really good when they was doing it. Okay. The other minimal processing was salting. Salting could be done dry by rubbing coarse salt and then smoking the meat, or brining by submerging the meat in a saltwater solution in a barrel and keeping it covered. This would keep the moisture to prevent the food from going bad. Fermenting is a process that allows microorganisms like yeast and bacteria to convert carbs into other substances like alcohol, acids, and gases without oxygen. This creates an environment that is not welcoming to harmful bacteria. Okay, so when you like see people having fruits in jars and stuff like that, this is fermenting. So how do we go from fresh, locally grown, minimally preserved food to the ultra processed food products we have now? And I'll explain later why I say food products. Our short answer is the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution is a time when you see factories and industries being bought to the States, and we're switching from an agricultural economy, which is farming, livestock, animals, to an industrial economy, factories, stuff like that. Okay. They didn't choose to leave. The invention of farm machinery means families didn't need as many people to work the farms. Factories were being built in cities that offered steady cash income and safety from the hazards of farming, bad harvest, drought, things that would cause problems, with feeding your family. Before this time, people had big families to have kids to help with the farm. You had to get out there and work every day. So now you have all this machinery, you have the cotton gin, you have these mills being built. So now it's not as much need for people on the farm. Well, what are you doing around here? You got to go somewhere and boom, send them to the city to work. As more people came to the U.S., land was being taken, and some families were not able to keep enough land to support their families anymore. In the UK, land was taken over, and small farmer and poor families lost access to land their families had used for generations. This didn't just happen in the UK. We'll talk about some of how it happened in the U.S. as well. But what you have here is overcrowding. Just like you see now with the housing market, and they're able to jack the prices of the houses up so high because they're in such demand. This is what was happening back then with the land. Everybody's just coming and taking from other people. Okay. Scientific advances allowed for the invention of chemical preservatives, bleaching agents, thickeners, artificial colors, and emulsifiers that were used to extend shelf life and reduce storage. Hold on, did I skip? No, I didn't skip. Okay. World War I and World War II forced industrialized processed food into permanent existence. I always say this. Once something becomes an industry, it is permanent. You notice how they turned COVID into an industry and it has not went away? Whenever something becomes an industry, now we have an active shooter industry. It's never going away. Too many people have started making money from it, okay? Armies needed cheap, cheap, shelf-stable food, which encouraged more processing, and the governments supported the large food companies to ensure supply. This is what happens. Companies start producing this. Now all of a sudden there's we need this, and the government is pressured to subsidize. After World War II, with women entering the workforce, convenience and speed became the bigger focus when it came to food. Companies responded with TV dinners and frozen and instant food options. Government subsidies for corn and soy led to the invention of high fructose corn syrup, soybean oil, emulsifiers, stabilizers, and fillers. As food companies grew and made more money, they marketed these processed foods so heavily that became normal. Imagine going from picking your greens from outside to now somebody's handing them to you in a bag. You have no idea where they came from. Or even worse than that, imagine going from picking your food from outside and now all of a sudden you're pulling a tray out the freezer and I have to be convinced that this is healthy and normal. So that marketing was heavy. Once companies figured that they could make more money by making food last longer and taste better, they turned food into products, not meals. Corn, soy, wheat, and sugar have been extracted, refined, and engineered to perfection. The bliss point is what scientists refer to as the perfect ratio of sugar, salt, and fat to keep the human brain wanting more and leaving us addicted. So when people say they have food addictions, they're not lying. This is a real thing that is purposely done. These companies began making food hyper palatable, which means more exciting than natural food, quick burning, so you get hungry faster, and emotion triggering, particularly comfort, nostalgia, and reward. We'll talk about that. Brain scans, focus groups, dopamine, which is the feel-good brain chemical dopamine testing, and emotional profiling to build foods help to build foods that hit emotional weak points, soothe stress, and stimulate reward pathways. And now I can relate to this. I don't think, and I think if you're honest with yourself, when you eat your favorite thing, that one favorite thing, think about how you're just like relaxed and like, oh, this is so relaxing. This is so good to me. And you don't know why it makes you feel so good to eat or to drink this thing, but it does. It's all on purpose. How does pleasurable food trigger addiction? By the effects of certain brain chemicals. Dopamine spikes. It tells your brain, this feels good and we should do this again. It creates a memory pathway between the food you eat and the good feeling. Same thing with drug addicts. Their brain makes a pathway between the drug they're taking and the good feeling. It's literally the same process. Your cortisol drops. The stress hormone cortisol drops temporarily while eating because your brain thinks we're eating, so we must be safe. During stressful times, your body craves high-calorie food for safety. Serotonin boost. Carbs boost serotonin, the hormone connected to emotional stability, contentment, sleep, and calmness. Think about the itis. This is why you get the itis after you eat. Whole foods increase serotonin, but slowly, while ultra-processed foods do it instantly. The kids crashing up and down, that sugar rush, how they get all hyper and then they come back down, that's the dopamine and then the serotonin, okay? Oxytocin boost. The bonding hormone oxytocin is boosted by eating enjoyable food. Food can mimic the same chemicals released when someone hugs or loves on you. Oxytocin in particular, this is the chemical that's released when a woman gives birth. This is a chemical that's released during intercourse. This is a very powerful bonding hormone. So imagine you getting that same feeling of love and happiness and oh my gosh, from eating food, okay? Targeting the Black community. You know it. And y'all know it. I had to go there, okay? So yeah, let's get into this. Targeting the Black community. During slavery, enslaved Black people rarely had little access to food they grew and were fed scraps of animals the master's family wouldn't eat. This is why y'all are eating chitlins and hog mugs and pig feet and cow intestines and all the undesirable parts of the animal, okay? Not just undesirable, but forbidden in the Bible. Let's not forget that. After slavery, there was a promise of 40 acres of land and a mule. And that's a literal saying. Let me get into it. This order was issued by General Sherman under Special Field Order number 15. Special Field Order number 15 was a military order issued that confiscated 400,000 acres of land along the Atlantic coast, that's the East Coast, the Atlantic coast of South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida to be redistributed in 40-acre plots to approximately 18,000 formerly enslaved families. The army was to lend the families free mules to help cultivate the land. So they were quite literally promised 40 acres and a mule. What happened? It was later overturned by President Andrew Jackson, and the land was returned to its former owners. He was a Southern sympathizer, a slave owner, and wanted to reward those who had been loyal to the Confederacy. Sharecropping, which is what was left after you've taken this land, and they ran the people off their land. Like I read about it, and if I would have kept going, it would have turned into a whole nother talk. But they literally ran these Black families off of their land. Okay, so what was left for them after this? Sharecropping. If you don't know what sharecropping is, it's basically where you like live on a shack in a field. And you are responsible for paying the landlord a portion of everything you grow. You have to pay for the tools you use. You have to grow a certain number of cash crops as well. So it wasn't just, oh, I'm sitting here farming on your land. No, I'm going to farm on your land, but then I owe the landlord for every single little bit of thing, which keeps families in debt. Okay. Sharecropping left Black people with little land to grow food for their families, as they had to use land to grow cash crops for their landlords. This is how they paid their rent and stuff. This kept Black families from building farm and food systems white families were able to grow. Jim Crow segregation meant that Black people lived in underfunded and underinvested neighborhoods with few stores. If there was a white-owned grocery store nearby, they often refused to sell to Black customers. Grocery stores refused to open in Black neighborhoods, hire Black workers, or extend credit. During the redlining era of the 1930s to 1960s, banks refused to give loans, business funding, or supermarket financing to Black neighborhoods, as they had labeled them as hazardous. Urban renewal efforts of the 1950s to 1970s meant that Black homes, businesses, corner stores, and thriving markets were destroyed to build highways and expand the interstate system. Local food economies were replaced with gas stations, fast food chains, and liquor stores. So, quite literally, in order to expand highways in the interstate system, they came through and tore down Black neighborhoods. And basically took what we were trying to build at that time. McDonald's, KFC, and other fast food chains targeted Black communities aggressively due to the combination of cheap real estate, no grocery competition, and high population density or overcrowding. They sold this to Black business owners as the Black franchise community, because surely you didn't think they was coming down to the hood to open anything. So they sold it to Black business owners as the Black franchise opportunity. Advertising was and still is specifically targeting Black people by advertising on Black TV and radio, websites, and billboards. Through the use of hip-hop, gospel, HBCUs, athletes, and celebrities, we have been sold soda, fried chicken, sugary cereal, and snacks, and ever-changing ultra-processed foods. This particularly brings back memories of when McDonald's really started hitting the rap music in the commercials. And I remember thinking, like, this is so freaking corny. Like, is this supposed to make me want to eat McDonald's? You got this corny rap song, but I guess it worked. Apparently it worked. I don't know. But so even with this, right? Just thinking about the current Target situation, because Target advertises on Black TV a lot. But look at that. They can advertise on Black TV all they want. Doesn't mean they have our best interest in mind. But again, we fell for it. We were caused to fall for it. I'm not going to say we fell for it. We were caused to fall for it. Okay. This has resulted in Black people leading in type 2 diabetes, 60% more than white Americans, which leads to kidney damage, blindness, amputations, heart disease, and higher maternal mortality. That's mothers who are dying. High blood pressure with earlier onset and more severe complications, which leads to heart attack, stroke, and kidney disease. Cancer, higher colon cancer mortality, earlier breast cancer diagnosis, and higher prostate cancer risk. Maternal health, fibroids, pregnancy complications, gestational diabetes, and preeclampsia. Kids' health, lower immune function, attention problems, behavioral issues, trouble with memory and slower growth, hormones, gut health, and brain development are disrupted by ultra-processed foods. If not for you, for the kids. And listen, I get the struggle, okay? I have 2 growing boys who will literally eat anything and everything they can get their hands on. So I get the struggle, but you're going to eat these vegetables. I'm going to cook this meal. You're going to eat this home-cooked meal. Everything in balance. Everything in balance. Okay, so mental health, depression, anxiety, emotional eating, fatigue. Because remember, emotional eating, because that food triggers your brain chemicals, which triggers your hormones, and it keeps you in this vicious cycle. See? Fatigue, chronic stress, and trauma responses. The brain runs on nutrients, and when nutrients are not supplied, the mind becomes stressed, foggy, and tired. Think about how people are acting these days. Think about how people are so quick to snap these days. Everybody's ready to fight. Why? Our minds are stressed, foggy, and tired. Ultra-processed food create chronic inflammation, hormone imbalances, digestive issues, and autoimmune problems. If you listen to people who have changed their diet to heal their diseases, they will tell you it's the food causing the inflammation, which just causes a whole nother chain reaction. I can attest to the digestive issues. I remember when I was in college, it was a Church's right by my school. Matter of fact, I was in school and I was working at the IRS. It was a Church's right outside my school, and it was a Church's near the IRS building. And I think for like that first 6 months to a year, that's all I was eating was Church's, because I didn't have time to sit at home and make a meal. I was going nonstop. Like at the end of that year, I wound up in the hospital with freaking IBS. And even now, I can tell when my diet is off, because I start getting symptoms. My stomach start getting upset. I start not feeling well. Okay, so your body is literally telling you when something is wrong. We have to pay attention. And I know we like to keep putting it off, but think about the chain reaction that's going on. It may start with you not feeling well, but then other things are going on that you don't know. So please pay attention to your bodies, okay? Okay. While no one is forcing you to eat McDonald's or any other ultra-processed foods, by systematically removing any other option out of your reach, they have caused you to become a victim of ultra-processed foods and corporate greed. You don't have to eat McDonald's, and you don't have to eat fast food. You don't have to. Nobody's putting a gun up to your head and telling you, hey, you go eat this McDonald's. Nobody's saying, hey, if you don't eat this McDonald's, we're going to put you in jail. So no, you don't have to. And any adult should be able to get to a grocery store, even if it's a mile away. I said a mile away because the definition of a food desert is a place where the closest grocery store is a mile or more away, right? You should be able to get to the grocery store. When I was reading about this, I thought about when we were living in the projects. Me, my mom, my brother, my aunt, my cousin, my uncle, my grandma, all in one apartment. and there was a corner store right across the street. Now, the grocery store, it was less than a mile away. It's less than a mile away, but it's not a convenient trip if you're trying to buy groceries for your family. Yeah, it might be cool if I'm just walking to grab a soda and some chips, but a family of 3, 2 adults and a kid. Who's carrying them groceries back and forth like that? This stuff is not convenient. They don't make it easy, and this is done on purpose. People with money have cars to get to the store to buy healthy food. And if you don't have enough money to get a car to get to the store to buy healthy food, then oh well, that's on you. This is how they cause you to succumb to this type of food, okay? Now, do you think you could ever accidentally worship an antichrist or support an antichrist system? Let's see. Revelations 13:12-16 says, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him and causeth, I want y'all to pay attention to causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. And he doth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. And the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right. The word cause means that you have influenced a person directly or indirectly so that your actions or words led them to do something. We talked about McDonald's. So, for example, you see that McDonald's commercial every morning while you're getting ready for work. Every morning it comes on like clockwork. And next thing you know, you're sitting at the drive-thru every morning to order you some McDonald's. Nobody made you go there. They didn't directly tell you specifically to go there. So this is what it means by indirectly also. Like, I don't have to specifically tell you, but whatever I'm doing is influencing you to make that decision, okay? This is not the same as making someone do something. When you make a person to do something, you use force or pressure and essentially give them no choice. For example, you have to have a driver's license to drive, or you will go to jail if you get caught without one. There's a direct consequence to not complying, okay? So to use force, to use pressure, okay? There's something's going to happen to you if you do not. I'm making you. When you tell your kid, you better go up there and clean up that room, I'm making you, because if you don't clean up that room, there is a direct, painful consequence coming right after this. So this is making, this is forcing, okay? This is not causing. I'm not trying to influence you. I'm telling you directly, get your butt up there and clean, okay? In the Greek, cause means to bring about, to influence, to bring into effect, or to arrange the conditions so something happens. It does not mean direct physical force. It means conditions will be created, pressure will be applied, systems will be set up, and influences will be used to compel people to worship the beast. Do you think this can't happen to you? Why do you now have to have a real ID to fly? Have you ever thought about that? If y'all don't know what real ID is, it's this card now. If you go get a driver's license now, they'll put a little gold star on it. And this means you have a quote unquote real ID. What it means is that you've submitted all the papers to the DMV to prove your identity. You have to prove where you were born, proof of address, and I forgot what else. I think it's like 2 other things you have to give them to get this star on your driver's license, right? But they were saying, oh, you can't fly without it. You can't fly without it. However, now, if you've been watching the news, now they're going to make you pay if you don't have it. If you don't have that little real ID star in your driver's license, they're going to charge you $18. And this happened when we were leaving Newark. And I thought it was weird because it didn't happen in Atlanta. But when we were leaving Newark, I gave my ID, my boarding pass, and I still had to stand there and they scanned my face with the camera. Crazy. It's all crazy. But now if you don't have that real ID, they're gonna charge you the $18 to pass by. Right. So how did this happen to us? What happened? There was a time when people didn't even have driver's licenses. And for people who keep crying about, oh, the government and my privacy, we keep submitting to these things. How? Explain going from cash to check to debit cards where your purchases can be tracked and monitored. I specifically remember this change. I remember going from all cash. You either had cash or you had a check. And back then, the checks was almost like cash. Because they had got it to the point where they could scan the check and take your money right then. Okay? But now, everybody's on these debit cards where every place you go and everything you buy is listed. How are we so comfortable being tracked? And how did we get taught into being so comfortable as to be tracked and monitored like this? How do we end up volunteering our personal information repeatedly, while also being warned about identification theft? Think about it. How many times do you set up an account? You got to put your name, your email address, your address. And you might think, oh, well, it's out there anyway. But that's not the point. Like, we have no expectation of privacy these days. And it's not because somebody came and put a gun to our head and said, hey, you better do this. Hey, you've got to do this. No, we have been caused to fall into these traps. Okay, let me check y'all comments. I'm sorry, you guys. Let's see. They also put it in water too. Yeah, the water's jacked up too. The water's messed up too. Tribeca, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. Brianne says, shalom and shalom, sis. Stay fit and in shape. The fast food will get you all out of balance and you have to work hard to get it off. Absolutely. That the fast food will have you messed up. Okay. But let's, I don't know how many of you all, well, I'm sure all of you remember 9/11. Everybody remembers 9/11. But do you remember the world before 9/11? Do you remember our pre 9/11 world? Where you still had some semblance of privacy. If you look at the not the 9/11 report, I forgot what it's called, but there's like the collection. This is a collection of bills that they passed after 9/11 that basically took away any expectation that you had to any kind of privacy. And they said they were doing it to prevent terrorism. Before 9/11, they couldn't just tap anybody's phone. They had to get a warrant. You had to have permission. You had to prove that, hey, this person is a risk to security. You don't have to do that anymore. Before, they couldn't search your home without a warrant. Now they can. They can search your home without a warrant and then come back and tell you about it later. We have been caused to live in a world that I imagine our grandparents wouldn't recognize. I think about that a lot. Like, what if my grandma, you know, had to live in these days where she has to be scanned to go in the airport? I remember when, because, you know, I was born in Germany, okay? And so for a lot of my childhood, we were flying internationally back and forth from Germany to the United States. I never had to be scanned. My family, when we would leave Jersey, they would come and sit with us at the gate in the airport until our plane was ready to leave. We would bring our bags, we would bring our food. It is not nearly as stressful as it is now. But even let's look at travel now, right? Because I just recently traveled and I thought I had a carry-on. I know I haven't traveled in a while, but the last time I was on a plane, what I had was acceptable as a carry-on. No, now they got people walking around with these little toddler-sized suitcases calling it a carry-on. So while they're not forcing you to put everything in this little suitcase, they will cause you to put everything in this little suitcase by making you pay if you don't. It causes you to comply to this system. Think about what just happened when the government shut down and people's SNAP benefits were cut off. Imagine the government shutting down again, but someone has the idea, oh, we could put this chip in your palm and it's loaded with Bitcoin and it'll let you go and buy food. Or the government shut down, but oh, I got this chip you can put in your hand and there's some SNAP funds on here. And if you put this chip in your hand, then you can go to the store and get some food for your kids. In First King or Second King, Samuel. One of them. Anyway, I was reading about Jeroboam and I was flipping through because I was looking through different examples. So I don't remember exactly where. I want to say it was in like First Kings. But it was talking about Jeroboam and how he made Israel sin. Okay. And here's the thing. When you sometimes when you see made, it doesn't mean made like force. It means made like cause. You got to look at the contents of what you're reading. And so by Jeroboam setting up these idols and allowing the groves to be built and allowing the idols to be built in the grove, he made Israel to sin by providing a system of idolization for them. If he, as the king, would not have been allowing such behavior, then Israel would not have been able to sin in such a manner. But because the king is saying, hey, party up, turn up, now the people feel comforted. They are being misled into sin because their authority figure is telling them that it's okay. If you read the Apocrypha, there's the story of Judith, a foremother. During the time of Judith, the Israelites were being attacked by the Assyrians. It was the Assyrians. And it was bad. It was bad because the Assyrians had cut off the water supply. The Israelites were in the mountains. The Assyrians cut off the water supply so they couldn't get any water. Okay. So Judith goes with a plan to fool the leader of the Assyrians. But the Assyrians already know, like you see them talking, the Assyrians already know, okay, we can't beat these people because their God is with them. The only thing we can do is to make them sin against their God. That's the only way we're going to defeat them. Okay. So they cut off the water supply thinking that would make them run and abandon the land. But Judith went to them and was like, well, actually, by you guys cutting off the water supply, you're cutting off the animals, and now they're thinking about eating the animals that are forbidden in our law. So yeah, y'all got them, y'all this close to making them sin, to causing them to sin. Because now they're not holding a gun to their head. They're not telling them, hey, you better pick up that pig and eat it. No. But I've cut off your water supply to where I left you with no other choice but to do this thing. So are you going to do the thing? Are you going to do the thing that you know you're not supposed to do, but will bring you physical comfort? I'm going to tell y'all right now, I am very much not looking forward to a time of no running water. I tell my husband also, because we watch a lot of like wilderness prepping, homestead stuff. We watch a lot of people that live off the grid, and I'm cool with everything. Like I'm cool with everything. The only thing in my mind that is a stumbling block is, you mean ain't gonna be no running water? Like I can't take a fresh, hot shower? That's the one thing that bothers me. And I'm praying about that. But I think about that all the time. At what would have to happen to you to cause you to bow your knee to the Antichrist? What can separate you from the love of God? And I know sometimes when we say that rhetorically, with nothing being the answer, but let's think about it. All the banks are shut down. We can't get any money anymore. Oh, you got crypto? The only way you can access your crypto is this chip. The banks are closed. The physical banks are closed. I was watching, what was we watching? The news? I think we might have been watching the news. And the latest scam now is to get elderly people to go to these Bitcoin ATMs and just put their money in these ATMs thinking that they're buying Bitcoin. Check on your parents. Check on your parents, check on your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, anybody over 50, okay? Check on them. And I'm only saying over 50 because those of us who were born like 75, 80, we are of that generation that went from everything being analog to everything being digital. So I would hope you guys that, if you're 45, 50, you're still pretty proficient with computers and phones and know when to recognize stuff. So, but please check on your aunts and uncles, check on your parents, keep them aware of any scams that might be going on. Me and my kids have code words. We have code words. I'm not gonna tell y'all, but I know that if they don't start the phone call with this code word, that it's not them. If there's ever an emergency, they know, say this and I'll know it's really you. Same thing with my parents. Okay. So y'all need to set this kind of stuff up because it's getting crazy out here. I mean, look how they've caused us to go from cash money to digital money, in essence, allowing us to be robbed more than ever before. Okay. Because before, at least you could only steal the cash that was in my pocket. Like if I didn't physically have it on me, you couldn't get to it. But now, all you got to do is follow me around online and keep trying to steal my identity, and you can rob me blind. Bank account, life savings, blind. They are stealing the deeds to people's homes now. How did we get misled into turning everything digital, making us even more exposed to those who would try to hurt us? How? They convince you that, robberies and I'm guilty. I have a Ring camera outside my home. Yes, I do, for security. But how do we get to the point where there are cameras everywhere? Everywhere. Everywhere is not safe. And we need cameras everywhere. And what's so crazy is I'm not saying to take away the cameras. I'm not saying that. But how do we get to this point where that's our option now? How did we get to the point where the only way I feel safe is to know that some cameras are always looking at me? How did we get to that point? How did we get to the point where, Big Brother has to be watching me to make sure that I'm okay? And even with Big Brother watching you, people are still getting away with crimes. People are still out here getting away with murders. So who are you watching? What are you doing? We have to think about this. When me and my husband first started dating, we had this conversation. And what brought it back to my mind is on Sunday, we had Sunday dinner. And him and my parents started talking about it for some reason. So that brought it back to my mind, and it just clicked with the food thing. I was like, okay, that'd be a great example to show people. But I want you like really start considering the choices that you're making and where they are leading you. A long time ago, I heard that women should never move backwards in dating, right? Whatever man you date, your next man should be a step above that. It should never be a thing about moving backwards. This setup is to cause you to do better in your life, thinking that you learned something from your last relationship. So now I'm on to something else. You can't date a bunch of bums all your life and then think you're going to wake up tomorrow and marry a boss. You don't know how to act in that situation. You don't know how to carry and conduct yourself. But when you set yourself up to succeed, when you cause yourself to succeed, you learn things in that process that will help you to succeed. If you are not causing yourself to succeed, you are causing yourself to fail, and you are learning skills to help you fail in that process. And so now when the test comes, when you can't run to the store and get water, when you can't run out and get something to eat real quick, what have you caused yourself to do? Have you caused yourself to succeed in that situation, or have you caused yourself to fail? Well, Miss Mono, how do I cause myself to succeed? You see the warning signs. Where's your food storage? Where's your canned food storage? I'm going to tell y'all something now. Y'all can turn y'all nose up at the food bank all you want to. Where's your canned food storage? Tell me right now that you got enough food in your house to last you for 6 months. Put it in the comments. Go ahead. Tell me I'm crazy. Oh, no comments? What are you doing to help yourself not have to succumb to the pressure? How are you preparing your family? Do you know how to fish? Are you trying to learn how to hunt? Do you know how to grow food? Are you even trying? You have time to prepare. If you ever get into like dark psychology or like psychology of government, they tell you all the time how they have to tell you what they're going to do. This is why you get this like predictive programming. Why after 9/11, everybody went back and was like, look, it was here. Look, it was there. Look, they were telling us here and they were telling us there. The same thing is going on now. They're telling you. They're telling you. Are you listening? And are you doing what you need to do to cause yourself and your family to succeed? Or are you going to let them cause you to fail? Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. People better start preparing now before it's too late. Yes. Yeah, I mean, if this last shutdown told us anything, it's that they never gave a, and they don't give a. And you can't blame one political party over the other because they was all in cahoots. So ain't nobody coming to save you. A Democrat is not going to save you. A Republican is not going to save you. Your governor, your mayor, they are not going to save you from what is happening. We can definitely make it a few months. Yeah, we can definitely make it a few months. Praise be. And we just letting that collection grow and grow and grow. We had to bring another shelf in our house because we got a bunch of canned goods. We got a bunch of dry beans. We got a bunch of other non-perishables. Like, please, y'all. Listen. We have a big family, okay? We have 9 kids in this family, 9 kids, 2 adults. That's 11 people that we are directly responsible for. Not to mention my husband's siblings, my husband's parents, my parents. All these people get priority before anybody else come knocking on the door. So that's about 20 people right there. What was that show on Netflix? Oh my gosh. The show on Netflix where the plane crashed into the beach and the people were abandoned at the house. Gosh, Lee, what is the name of that? I cannot think of it. But it was this show on Netflix. The world was ending, the power was going out, the planes was crashing on the beach, and this dad and his daughter were stuck at their vacation home, but they had rented it out to this family. So then they were all stuck at it. If you can think of it, put it in the chat. I cannot think of it. But they went to a neighbor's house looking for like food or medicine or something, and the neighbor came outside with a shotgun and was like, I only have enough in here to take care of us. Sorry, I ain't got nothing for you. It is coming to that time. And see, what people like to do now is they like to get mad at people for what they do with their stuff. Like, you'll get mad because your homegirl don't feel like giving you a ride today. My mama always told me, don't get mad and with other people for what they do with their stuff. And there's going to become a time when you just going to be SOL. Because you expect family, you expect a mother to look at her child and be like, oh, well, I got to feed my friend. No. No, that's not how it's going to work when it's all going down. Be prepared to take care of yourself. Start storing up food. It ain't got to be the food. It's not going to be the food that you would eat on a regular basis. Nowhere ever in my mind am I thinking, oh, let me go pop open a can of veggies. No, I'm a fresh veggie girl. I'm a fresh frozen veggie girl. That's what I grew up on. So that's always going to be my choice. But push come to shove, I'm going to bust open a can of them vegetables and we going to put it in a pot and throw it on the grill. That's why we keep charcoal and lighter fluid. That's another tip for you. You'll be able to cook no matter what. All right? 3 deep freezers, 3 full-size freezers, and 3... Listen, all praises to the Most High. And listen, I love my man, okay? It wasn't leave the world behind. Yes, that was it. Thank you, Angelina. Leave the world behind. That was it. Okay, let me tell y'all about this wonderful book real quick. I know I usually show it to you guys on the website, but I had to bring the physical copy because this book is awesome. I love this book. It just reminds me of like the older books from when I was a kid. Awesome table of contents, lots of great pictures in this book. The book is called Who Made Me? You can order the book at the website herchosenpath.com. Okay. Lots of great little stories in here. First page, who is Yahweh? Let's explain who the creator is. Get the kids introduced. Lots of great rhyming passages on here. Easy for them to remember. Easy for them to say with you. At the end, there's a letter from the author. Where is it? Let me find it for you. Okay, here's a letter from the author at the end. Let's talk about it. Conversation starters with your kids, okay? And I love reading with my kids. I do. And these conversation starters are awesome because you want to know that they're comprehending what you're reading and not just taking it in to spit it out. So the conversation starters kind of help them remember, help make it more permanent for them. Prayers for you and your child at the end. This is a beautiful book. It's a well-made book. Like, you can just feel, I'm not just saying this because I know the author, but you can really feel the love and care that went into the book. You get a personalized thank you card with a very lovely letter on the inside. So please, herchosenpath.com. Support my good sis. Grab a couple copies. Feast of Dedication is coming up. Grab a couple copies for the kids in your life. You know somebody having a baby. I'm sure they would greatly appreciate it. Yes, you have to get one for the grandbaby. The book is called Who Made Me, and it is at herchosenpath.com. Okay? All right. And so a few days ago, actually a few months ago, I saw this very disturbing ad for Gucci. I wonder if I can find it. Let me see. I'm gonna just try to look for this one picture, and if I can't find it, then we'll just talk about it. Oh, boom, boom. Look at that. There it is. Okay. I saw this a few months ago. And at first I didn't really I mean, like, you see how she looks on there? At first it was like, ew, like, what is this? Why is she like that? But as you start getting into marketing, advertising, programming, you realize that there's a reason for everything, right? They're not just doing this for no reason. So if you look at just how skinny they've made her, like how gaunt she looks, they used to call this heroin chic. Back in the 80s and 90s, this used to be called heroin chic. The hollowed out cheekbones. Okay. And so I was I reading or something, and they were talking about this trend because there are a couple of other pictures like this of different celebrities looking all hollowed out, skinny, starved almost. And so for this to happen, this happened right before the government shut down. And so this led many people to believe that this kind of look is going to start becoming more popular as people start becoming more financially destitute. Why? So that when you see a poor, hungry, starving person, you won't think pity. You will think of, oh, I saw that celebrity in that ad and they look just like this. So they're okay. They're not that bad. Maybe they're looking like this on purpose. And I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy to you in your mind, sitting in wherever you are listening to me right now. It sounds crazy, right? But that's how the programming works. When cigarettes were first discovered, they were just loose weeds rolled up in a leaf that were used for ceremonial, spiritual, or medicinal purposes by Native Americans and other indigenous cultures, right? And so once they became mass produced, they needed marketing and advertising, right? And so in order to convince people that these were medicinal and these were healthy, they had doctors advertising cigarettes. If you go back to the era of the Mad Men, like the 50s to 60s, they will talk about how they started with the cigarette advertising, and they would have doctors and nurses and medical professionals talking about how cigarettes are just so healthy. Well, what do you think this caused people to do? Smoke cigarettes. Oh, the doctor says it's good for me and it relieves stress, blah, blah, blah. It makes my brain feel good. This must be a good thing. Well, lo and behold, people started dying of lung cancer. And now the government wants to get involved. The Surgeon General wants to smack all these labels on there, but it is too late because the people have become addicted to nicotine. It is too late because you've had a generation of children who have been raised to think that cigarettes are okay. It was not until the 90s when I was a teenager. Was it the 90s or the 2000s? So they started talking about it in the 90s about suing the tobacco companies. And then I think in like the early 2000s, they successfully sued them for causing the lung cancer deaths because they did not tell people about the addictive nature of nicotine or the carcinogenic, meaning cancer-causing products that they were adding to the tobacco. So they held the cigarette company responsible because you caused all of these deaths. When you see these lawsuits for these medicines that come out and hurt and kill a bunch of people, they are made to pay because you caused all of these people to die. No, you did not force them to take your medicine. You didn't force them to take the medicine, but you also did not do all that you could to ensure that this was safe. I mean, they have clinical trials that are supposed to weed out the bad medicines, but what they don't tell you is they expect a certain number of people to die. They expect a certain number of people to be seriously injured. And when they are figuring out the cost of your medicine per pill per month, they are figuring out the price of paying off those lawsuits. So while you are taking that medicine, before it disables you, before it unalives you, before it causes you to have to get on another medication, you are essentially paying for your own future lawsuit. You caused me to hurt myself. The food that you fed me causes inflammation, cancer, disease, high blood pressure. And then the medicine that you give me to treat the cancer, inflammation, disease, high blood pressure just leads to more. And now I'm in this cycle. You don't have to stay in the cycle. The first thing you have to do is pray for your eyes to be open. You know how Yahushua spoke in parables so everybody wouldn't understand, and it ain't for everybody to get. Everybody's not going to get this. Some people are going to listen to this message and their eyes are going to be open, and they're never going to be able to go back to looking at things the way they used to. Now they're going to see the scam and everything. Now they're going to see the possible damages and everything, which praise be to the Most High. That's what I want you to do. But some of people are going to listen to this message and be like, is she crazy? What is she talking about? You're not rejecting me. You're rejecting the message. My job is to just bring it to you. And then after that, it's on you. Like when the people wanted a king and Samuel was telling them like, guys, I don't think we should do this. I don't think we should do this. And the people was like, shut up, Samuel. And the Most High was like, I got you. Don't even worry about it. They're not rejecting you. They're rejecting me. Okay. So you're not rejecting me. You're rejecting the message. And so, the first thing you should do is pray to the Most High to have your eyes open. Pray to be able to see the truth about things. And once your eyes become open to the truth, I'm telling you, your mind is going to be blown. You're going to start seeing it everywhere. The second thing I feel like we need to start doing is fasting. And this is one of my weak points. I definitely need to fast more. Okay. But we need to start fasting. You need to be able to control your hunger. You need to be able to keep your flesh in check. And we're not eating right now. We're not going to eat today. You will be all right. You better drink this water and shut up or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? You have to get your body under control. I had another thing. Hold on. Where was it? Commandment keeping. Commandment keeping. Just like when I told you about the story of Judith, they know that they cannot do away with us except we disobey the law of our God. Why do you think every time you turn around, you're finding out that something else is pork? Do you think that's an accident? Every time you turn around, this is pork. That's pork. This got pork in it. That got pork. You think they'll tell you, oh, it's because it's so cheap. As if there's a shortage of cows, goats, acceptable animals. There's no shortage of cows or goats, but they keep putting pork in everything. Why? There's no shortage of righteous, positive messaging. It's not. It's just not put in front of you because that's not the path they want to cause you to take. They don't want to cause you to take the narrow road that leads to righteousness. They want to cause you to take the wide path that leads to destruction. So this is why they put the programming in front of you that they do. This is why it's so easy for you to turn on a TV and see Black people killing each other. This is why right now you can turn on a radio and hear of unspeakable things being done. This is the path they want to cause you to take. Think about this the next time you're around someone and the atmosphere that they set for you. Ladies, this is why I tell y'all, don't be behind closed doors with a man you're not ready to sleep with. You will cause yourself. I didn't mean to. You set the situation up for it to occur. See, that's the thing about sin, right? They don't have you immediately jump off the porch. Can't immediately jump off the porch. You got to be trained before you go porch jumping off of. So what they have you do, they have you come and hang out with them for a little bit. Have you go and make runs with them so you can see. Have you come and sit in the house so you can watch them. Now you can come and start. Now, all right, it's your turn. Cause you to fall down these paths. This is why you have to pray to keep your eyes open. This is why your antenna always got to be up, especially when it comes to the people that you hang around, because they will cause you to fall. Look at the life that they live. If you want to cause yourself to live the same kind of life that they live, then keep hanging around them. But if that's not the life you want to cause yourself to live, you need to get away from them. It is just, think about how things have happened in your life. And you may when you wake up one day, you're like, oh my God, how did I? You ever look back at some of them boyfriends and be like, what was I thinking? What was going on with me? What was going on in my brain at that time that I thought that this was acceptable? The situation, the atmosphere in your life at that time caused you to fall into that situation. And now I'm not saying that you do not have any personal responsibility. Let me make sure I bring that in here, because recognizing the pathways and the modalities of your bad behavior does not excuse you from fixing it. If anything, it should be a tool for you to understand how to overcome this thing. Okay, I noticed that whenever I'm sad, I like to reach for the ice cream. How can I prevent this from happening? I'm not going to have the ice cream in my house. How else can I prevent this from happening? Because it's still on me. Well, let me fast a few days to get this flesh under control. I'm purposely not going to stop and look at the ice cream. Nope, I'm going to just keep going. No, you still have a responsibility to conduct yourself in a way that is pleasing to the Most High. But this is what grace and mercy is for. Grace and mercy is not for your willful sin. Grace and mercy is not for when you call buddy up. You up? Come over. Grace and mercy is not for that. Grace and mercy is for when you honestly are helpless and you honestly do not know how you got here. And you are honestly, wholeheartedly crying out to the Most High, please, God, help me. I don't know what to do. I don't even know how I ended up in this mess. This was never my intention. I just wanted somebody to love me. I was just trying to make a couple extra dollars for me and my kids. Please help me. That's what grace and mercy is for, not to be abused for your own whims and pleasures, but to offer you a hope and a redemption when you find yourself paying the consequences of said sins and or mistakes. And I'm only saying and or mistakes because, hey, we were all once foolish, okay? I have my moments of overeating. Well, I know good doggone well I ain't got no business eating no more of this, but I just love the way I have my moments as well. Please understand whatever I'm saying to y'all, it's not something that I have not or do not go through. I can recognize the truth, but I still struggle with some things. Sometimes that French fry demon get on my shoulder and I find myself at the drive-thru too. So I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I never want y'all to feel like, oh, she thinks she better know. Oh, she thinks she got it all together. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Some of y'all know my testimony. I don't know if I've ever really sat down and just told anybody everything. My husband is the only one that I know for a fact knows everything that I know, he knows. And that's the only person I can say that about, because I don't, you know what I'm saying? I've made the mistake before of trying to share my testimony and it was thrown back in my face. And so I'm very careful now about how and when I share any part of my testimony. Like it has to be really, you know what I mean? I have to feel led to do it. And even then I'll be like, Lord, please. Lord, please. Please don't let this blow up in my face. What situation are you in right now that you feel you were caused to be misled into? And here's what I'm going to say. Have some grace and mercy for yourself. Have some grace and mercy for yourself, because I'm big on self-responsibility. I'm big on accountability. But also have some grace and mercy for yourself, okay? This is one of them times when you can't. And because I want you to really sit there and contemplate. And if you have to write it down, write it down. But think about the situations that you're in right now. Your financial situation. Did you plan that or did that happen to you? Your living situation. Did you plan that or did that happen to you? Your job situation. Did you plan that or did it happen to you? And so if the thing happened to you, how are you going to come out of what happened to you to what you want to happen for you? How are you going to come up out of that low paying job that happened to you? For whatever reason that happened to you. You didn't go to college, you didn't finish college, you failed out of college. You didn't like school, never paid attention to school, didn't bother to pick up a trade. For whatever reason it happened to you, that man left you after he told you he's going to take care. Whatever reason caused you to fall into where you are right now, acknowledge it, put it in that little box, stuff it in the back of your brain so we don't do it again. We don't want to forget what happened. And that's another problem. People forgive and forget. And I just want, no, do not forget, sis. You put that in a little box and you put it back here in your long-term memory so we don't ever do this again. And then you get your butt up one day at a time. And this is why I hate movie montages, because they make you feel like, oh, the transition is so fast. And they play the music and, she's a homeless mom one day. And then at the end of the song, they live in a 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom mansion in Alpharetta. Life just don't happen like that, okay? So get that out your head and realize that you're going to have to get up every day, step by step, to rebuild and put yourself where you are supposed to be. Now, the wonderful, joyful news about this is you have the Most High on your side. And if you would just follow his steps, I promise he will restore the things to you that were taken from you, even by yourself. Like, they always used to confuse me in church because they'd be like, oh, the cankerworm and the locust and all the things the devil stole from you. But I had got to the point when I was like, well, what about the stuff that I caused myself to lose? What about, because yes, the enemy may have set up this situation for me to go this way, but I went that way and I'm the one that's paying the price. So what about the stuff that I caused myself to lose? And I'm here to tell you, he's a restorer. He is a restorer. He's a keeper of his promises. You turn your desires to him. You take your pleasure in him and he will give you the desires of your heart. Not to the point of giving you the things that you think that you want now, because you probably like, oh, well, then, Lord, I want to be in a penthouse in Buckhead right now. No, not to the point of giving you the things that you want now, but to the point of making your heart's desires righteous so that you will want the things that he has for you instead of chasing the things of the world. He's never going to give you your worldly desires, but he will change your heart and renew your mind to make you want the things of God. I don't bring you this information for you to sit back and pity yourself, or for you to sit back and feel like, oh, well, there's nothing I can do. The system is coming for me. Absolutely not. I'm giving you this information to empower yourself against the tricks of the enemy, to empower yourself to be enlightened. All you have to do is open your Bible with a willing mind and a willing heart. And I promise you, the Most High will make himself known to you. You're not going to learn everything about him in a day. That's not how it works. Nobody works like that. Nobody works like that. And in fact, a person that sits you down and tries to tell you everything about them, I would be scared of that person, because certain things only play out in actions. I can tell you what I can say with my mouth, anything I want. My mom says all the time, you can make your mouth say anything you want to. There's this British food show called Secret Eaters. And it's these people that like go to the doctor and they're like 300, 400 pounds, but they're like, I don't know why this is happening to me. All I eat is fruits and vegetables and I only eat once a day. And I don't know why I'm so fat. But as they follow these people around, they see a whole bunch of added sugar, a whole bunch of snacks. Like they see the things that the people are doing. For real, for real. Be for real with yourself. If you got a problem, you're not going to get anywhere lying to yourself and lying to God. Them two people that you should never, why? You not respect your own intelligence enough to feel like that my brain can figure out what's going on here? Do you not trust your spirit enough? Do you not trust in God's hand on your life enough? Do you not trust in his love for you enough? Do you not trust in the call that he put on your life enough to know something's not right here? I've got to change this. This is not what I want. This is not what God wants. This is not leading me down a path of righteousness. If anything, I keep finding myself taking these detours of destruction. And please, y'all, please, before you don't make it back from one of these detours, or before you don't make it back the same, because there's worse things than dying. Believe it or not, there's worse things than dying. There's some conditions that you don't want to live in or live with. But you never expect it to happen. That's not what... I didn't fall in love with this man for him to beat on me and shoot me and leave me disfigured. I didn't run off with my friends. I thought we was just going to hang out that night. I didn't even know we was going to be in a shootout. I didn't know we was going to get in this accident. I didn't know I was going to end up in jail. I thought I was just taking a trip with my boyfriend. I didn't know what was in the trunk. I didn't know. And now I'm in jail, facing prison. I didn't know. Now what? Now what? Are you going to sit there and keep sulking and saying you didn't know? And here's what you got to realize. The days of your life are going to go by no matter what condition you are in. No matter what condition you're in. You could be happy or you can be sad. But if God bless you to wake up tomorrow, tomorrow is going to be Friday. You could be happy, you could be sad. If God bless you to wake up the next day, it's going to be Saturday, and time will continue marching on. Are you going to march with it? Or are you going to sit here and be stuck at the place and time of your trauma? Are you going to be sitting stuck at the place and time of your addiction? Are you going to let the cause of your destruction control you and keep you from righteousness? Now is the time to choose. My husband has a theory that in January, when it's time for them to renegotiate the government financing situation, that they are going to shut us down again. That is what he thinks. And I'm telling y'all right now, prepare. Because if it's not this January, it's one day soon. It's one day soon. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me this evening. I hope that something I said to you was helpful, whether you're listening live or on the replay. If you happen to catch us on the replay, then comment replay. Tiara, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. All praises to the Most High. Say a prayer for your girl. Give some praise for my nail tech, she's only 19, and she was like, "You really happy to be turning 45?" Yes. Do you know what the Lord has brought me through? Yes, I'm happy to be here. I'm content with my life. I'm in love and I'm being loved. My family is healthy. Yes, I'm happy. I am very, very happy. So please take some of my joy if you need it. Again, I hope something I said was helpful to you. Don't be discouraged. Please do not be discouraged. Do not give up. I promise you, everybody that you look at and you think, oh my gosh, they seem like they have it all together. Been there, done that. Okay. So you can have that same testimony. You can be looking back 6 months from now, been there, done that, giving your testimony to somebody else about how the Most High brought you through, but you got to start today. All right. I love you so much. Thank you for hanging out with me. It's always a pleasure. All praises for another year. I look forward to hanging out with y'all another year. Hopefully we'll grow, like the podcast will grow. My Bible study group chat will grow. So all praises to the Most High. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me this evening. I will see you back here, same black time, same black station next Thursday. If you're in the Atlanta metro area and you know us, please drop a DM. We are having a game night at our home Friday night. Being that it is at our home, it is not open to the public. There will be background checks and fingerprints and all that good stuff. And if you have not been pre-approved at the House of Mono, please send us a DM so you can come and hang out with us, have game night with us. We're going to play a couple games. You know, we always got food. We're going to feed you. And it's just going to be a good time for fellowship. We don't like to take things away and not replace it with something. So, you know, hey, we don't do Thanksgiving. We do not do that. But Thursday, you can come in. I mean, not Thursday, Friday, that Friday after, come kick it with your folks. Okay. We're going to have a good time in the Lord. All right. I love you, huh? Oh,
you there in that street.
Out of gas. You got anything to say before we go?
I'm so sorry I'm late.
It's okay. All right, everybody. I will see you here next Thursday, 8 o'clock. Same black time, same black station. Lord willing. You ready? I love you so much. Shalom. Shalom. And good night.
Doing gang things.
Mono.
Living super clean. That it came up.
One time for my king doing king things. Mommy's hoes, cause he know he got a good thing. I submit.
In the white boy ass Don't Want Your Ass with your host, Miss Mono.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono.
Every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. live on YouTube at Miss Mono's World and Monologue Magad. Now also available on the Saya TV on Roku and Fire Stick. Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass.